because you could say, jump up and say maybe, okay, I get tired of this, let me go get a job. What does keep you going?
Do you think the community is receptive to entrepreneurs?
There's this thing with Carnival and what's the dating experience like on island?
Whew. To say it plain,
What's going on, everybody? Back again with another episode of A Talk. Before we start the episode, like I say in every episode, first thing I want to do is thank everyone for subscribing to the channel. We noticed that a lot of you are subscribing, so for those that are watching and haven't subscribed to us yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when videos drop each time. Like I said, let me get closer to 50%. We're at 70 now because you all subscribing as much as possible, so subscribe some more. Today we have a special guest, Miss Lenaria Brown. Today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, relationship, if she so let us. Events, and a lot of things because you do a lot of things. But before we start, I would like you to formally introduce yourself, and if you could tie up yourself in like 2-3 sentences for the public. If you could do that for us, Lenaria, take it away.
okay. Well, thank you for having me, Paul and Jaquil. Well, my name is Lenaria, and I am 26 years old. I am one of Statia's youngest entrepreneurs. I started when I was 16 with Saskia and Zidija. I am currently the owner of Surefire Cargo, which is a logistics agency, and also Brown's Auto Parts, the only auto parts store on the island. And I'm also the youth representative of the overseas countries and territories. And what else? Oh, I am also the owner of, the founder of 98 Events. We have Sunkist coming up, so I know, everybody who's watching, come out to Sunkist. Yeah. And I'm also the co-owner of the Donut Factory and the co-founder of Ujima Carnival.
Okay, you see?
A lot. Some things I even forget.
It's good that you remember all of them too.
Yeah, I got to practice.
Imagine that.
Okay.
So,
but before you start,
okay,
I'm a person who really into accessories. Mm-hmm. So I see you have like, I admire your earring. I see like you have Stacia. I see on your necklace you also have Stacia. And I also looking down below, the feet, I should say. And I also see those accessories. So I wanted to know, where did you purchase them?
Okay, well, this is actually a project of me and my mother. She started a few years ago doing souvenirs and small trinkets. And I saw, usually what I just do is when I travel abroad, I just see what other islands have and what a home could profit from.
As an inspiration.
Yeah. So I saw that there was this place in Bonaire that does have Bonaire on chains and bracelets. I was like, we could do that for Stacia. So I did some research, and I found a supplier. And I have it on for already like a month, going on 2 months. Yeah. So I'm testing out the quality. And it's been good quality. And I'm proud to say by next month, everybody could purchase an order.
Oh, that's really good.
Yes.
Really
so
nice.
It's bracelets, earrings. We have Stacia on a necklace and also the map of Stacia. The bracelet is a map, and the anklet is also a map of Stacia.
Nice.
In gold.
Nice.
Gold plated.
I also wanted to add that I purchased a keychain from you.
Oh, yes.
We'll have the Stacia on it, but it has a black sand. Can you explain it more?
Yes. So
where the idea came from?
Yes. So as an overseas country and territory youth network representative, we actually traveled to Brussels in November, and that was an educational trip, a study visit. And they told us to bring something from home. So I was like, what I could bring? And I was like, And I know they say when you find a blue bead, you always bring it back to Stacia. So I was like, how to tie that in? So you always find them on the beach. So that's where I was like, okay, a bottle, black sand, and then a blue bead on the bottom.
Yeah.
So when you turn it over, you find a blue bead and also have some pieces of gold in it.
Yeah.
So me and mother brainstormed and we put that together. And then I took those along with Stacia hat cakes to bring culture to them.
You are really creative. I must say, gonna give you more props too.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
I remember you said the first thing you said is that you started your entrepreneurial journey when you were 16.
Yeah.
But I'm sure your entrepreneurial spirit came from somewhere. Where it came from?
I believe it's from the family because everybody know my aunt is teacher Debbie. She have car rental, and our grandmother, the both of them start off the car rental agency. Then we have Uncle Gary, my uncle. He's a mechanic. Then we have Uncle Franklin. He also an entrepreneur. And my father right now, he doing his own thing. He was working at the terminal, but now he's also doing his own thing. So I think that's exactly where it come from. Passed out from the family.
You can remember the first, when you were younger, like, you know, some people do like a lemonade stand or something like that. You can remember the first thing that you decided to do, like from an entrepreneurial standpoint?
Yeah, it was me, Saskia, and Zirija. We did cupcakes for the school. I think Megady had asked us to make them. It was like over 500 cupcakes.
What?
We had to make, I think it was Valentine's Day. We had a whole stand put up. I think that was the first time we actually had we also used to do movie nights for children. So that's
really nice. I still see that's still continuing because you all have a Easter. I received it in the Churn bag today or yesterday in school. Nice idea.
Real nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And seeing that you say you went from cupcakes, and I know you all graduated to donuts. Why not the cupcake factory? Why end up the donut factory?
So I really don't know. I think we just used to do donuts. I mean cupcakes just for so. And then the donuts actually started when me and Saskia wanted to buy school supplies, but you can't get school supplies here. So we want to go to Martin, no money. But no, I think we had the money. Yeah, we had the money, but nobody to go with us. So Yuchi was like, Yuchi, my brother, he said, well, if I get the money, I won't go with all you. So I said, okay, no problem. So he said, make donuts. I was like, we sure about that. It was the first time. They were bad. They were bad. But people was like, yeah, do it again. So then we keep doing it. And we did make enough to pay for, I think, his hotel and car rental and his flight.
So you see? Really good.
Yeah. So
and that actually came from my idea from someone, okay, you didn't know at that time, but it came from that idea, you know. And you all, I know every time you all put a donut factory.
Sold out.
We always say cupcakes, but donuts, it always will be good. Yeah. And venturing into that, you all started it up as a pop-up. Then eventually you all turned it into a business. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So we used to do it from, we move around a lot of places. We started, the first sale was Abayuchi House. That was the first, and used to live in Princess. And then we moved to my mother's house in her kitchen. And she was like, oh, you're always in my kitchen. Then I think we had moved to Saskia. From then, my mother had spoke to my father and Uncle Gary. He was like, I have a space downstairs that we build it up. They get wood and everything. They build up a little kitchen. So we used to do it there. And then we migrated over to Saskia House. And then from there, it used to be on and off. It wasn't often.
Yeah.
But then we realized, like, you know, it got growing demand for the donuts. So I was like, I got a business license. I had the business license already for the auto parts store. And I was like, under that, we could put the donut factory.
How old were you then?
18.
Oh, okay.
19, yeah.
Okay.
So under that, we put the donut factory. And from there, it just become a legit business.
So before you go into that, it had to stem from something like Jackie say, like, okay, you get it from your family, but within yourself, yes, you see your family, but within yourself, it also have to be like your self-confidence that, hey, I know this can work. Like, was that instilled in you or?
Yeah, I have a drive for always doing something. And me and Saskia, we always used to hate asking parents for money. So whenever I got any idea, something to make money, it means Saskia, we're going to push it. So that's one of the main drive, the force behind why we used to do stuff like that.
That's nice. Yes. Beautiful.
And I see you talk about, I don't remember the correct word, so don't blame me, the youth.
The overseas countries and territories youth network.
What does that entail really?
So basically, I didn't know nothing about it. I saw Suveri. She was the last representative for last year's cohort. She was posting about it, and I was like, something to read about. So I read it, and I was like, it seems interesting. And what it basically is that they want to inform and educate the youths in the overseas countries and territories, which is Simbat, St. Martin, Saba, Stacia, Aruba, Curacao, Bonaire, French Polynesia, New Caledonia, Greenland. I feel like I'm forgetting some stuff, but those. And they want the youths of those islands, to know more about what the European Union does do for us. Because you see a lot of stuff going on around the island, but you don't know exactly who do it. So they flew us out. I actually applied. We started applied. Yeah. I was like, I ain't so sure if I'm going to get you. But then they actually took me. And the thing that they do is that once they take different people in different, so they take me because of entrepreneurship. Yeah. Then they take someone from Aruba because he's a Greenpeace or he fight for the island. Yeah. So they take different personalities and accomplishments where you fight for, and they invite us. So we have different meetings every 3 months or every 2 months. And there they teach us about the European Union and what we could learn. And then in November, we flew there and we met with different organizations. So we learned about Erasmus Plus, which I didn't know about either, which I would like to elaborate on later on. Yeah. We went to the European Parliament. We met with the Vice President of the European Parliament, which is Yunus Omarjee. Yeah. Meeting the different youths from the different islands, it was very interesting to know that we all have maybe similar cultures. And but it was very, because for example, the airport, they paid for it. The European Union paid for it. And I didn't know. You just see like little boards and say, but who does take time to read, you know? They also did a water project. They're also doing reforestation, that's where Sinapa planting plants to do, And I think they do the port, if I'm mistaken. They have funding to do that as well. So that's mainly their objective. They want to inform the public, you know, this is where the money coming from. They just want a little recognition.
Okay. And then your part being for the youth, what is the contribution you have to bring back?
So I have to bring back the knowledge that I learned. So for example, Erasmus Plus, they have funding for youth and also youth organizations for them to travel for like sport and also get people to come in to teach them about different sports. So right now they have a call or a training in Aruba in June, which they have me to give out the information to different people to come and learn how to apply for the funding for those different opportunities.
Okay, that's nice. So what you're doing is separate to what I see some students, some youth going away traveling for different sports in the States.
That is different. Separate from that.
Okay.
And there's also now EYE, that's a European Youth event that's coming up in June as well in France, which I'm working on going because with the cohort I'm in with the overseas countries and territories, they don't actually have much funding. So they invited those that are in Europe at the moment from the representatives. I was like, no. We need to be represented. Statia never does be represented anywhere. I was like, we need to get there. So I contacted Maldwin, and we are working on travel and stuff for me to represent Statia there to have a discussion on different youth problems or give different ideas of where we could better ourselves or in the island. So
where you feel that Statia could benefit in general?
In general.
Where youth is concerned.
With youth. I feel like we need more activities. So I was living on Bonaire for 2 years, and they do everything, all sports. And the whole community always pushing them. Here, you hear about basketball and baseball here. We only hear about it when they come in to recruit. But I feel like it should have more community engagement and more tournaments and different tennis, basketball, swimming. I know you used to have swimming, but you don't hear nothing about it anymore. I feel like it should come back in full force too. So that's one of the most things that I'm very passionate about is youth sports and also entrepreneurship, because everybody going out and studying for teacher and studying for doctor and studying for this. But I feel like there's more to just those. For example, I was talking to somebody a day and they tell me that in Curacao, when the crews come in, the port have their own pilot. The pilot from the cruise can bring in the ship. And they also, Nusa have their pilot as well. But I feel like Statia the port here should have their own pilot. So people don't really know that those type of, jobs exist. So I feel like that also, the government should put out what kind of openings, what kind of jobs you got on the island that, you could go out there and study for, because people don't really know, students don't really know what they want to study. So maybe that would actually give them a push and give them an idea of what they want to become.
I can see why they chose you.
I said the same thing myself just now.
Yeah. But being in the group of those different places, meeting those different people, when you told them you were from Stacia, what was their reaction?
Stacia, where's Stacia? Always, where's Stacia? And then also when I give them the gift, they was like, oh, this is so sweet. And the black sand, it was like black sand because a lot of them have white sand.
Yeah.
So I was very intrigued to learn, you know, such a small island exists, especially Saba as well.
Yeah.
Such a small island exists, and, you know, we all on the same globe, and people don't know. So, yeah.
Okay.
And from because you said that you want more people to not study the same thing, and you need a lot more entrepreneur, but entrepreneurship is not something that it's so
glamorous.
easy. Yeah. Some people go from working to a 9 to 5 to working 24/7, for example.
Exactly.
How, because you could say, jump up and say maybe, okay, I get tired of this, let me go get a job. What does keep you going?
Well, right now I'm a little looking to see for the push for me to continue going. Because like I say, entrepreneurship ain't easy at all. If you go to a 9 to 5, you won't get paid at the end of the month.
Yeah.
You get a vacation day, or you're sick, you stay home, you're still getting paid at the end of the month. But if you don't go into your business, you're making the money. So that's where it does get difficult because for me, it's only me working. So I just get tired a lot. I can't take a break. Sometimes I want to take a break, but then my parents on the side, no, you can't take a break. You gotta go walk. It'll be so tired.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, I could be frank, you don't make it. Yeah. You're on a small island, you're a competition. Yeah. Sometimes you ain't making it. So sometimes you're like, boy, 9 to 5 ain't looking bad, you know.
Yeah.
But also, you could have your business and also have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So something small, a small business where maybe you could go in after work or fix your hours for a weekend. For example, I see a lot of makeup artists coming out, girls doing nails, and those are also businesses where you could be an entrepreneur and also working 9 to 5. So I feel like you got a soft spot in between where both of them could work out.
Yeah.
You thinking about it?
Yes, I am.
What brought? I know you say like they have the it has something you don't make it by, but
I want to know, like, do you think the community is receptive to entrepreneurs?
Rephrase, please.
Like, do you think because if you want to do like consultancy and so forth, you have your own business. But let's say, do you think that is accepted within our community?
How to put it? Sometimes, you know, some people are like, I ain't going my she. I ain't going my this one. I ain't going my that one. So it does kind of get hard where they would rather support others or maybe outsiders instead of supporting your own. Oh, she expensive. I ain't going my that one. Go buy the maybe FedEx or I'll go buy. But you got to understand that these people have mouths to feed or they got to pay rent. They got to pay the bills. So that's one of the challenges that has come with being an entrepreneur and then having the locals who you're looking at to support you.
Yeah.
Then you bring me to a question. A lot of times, I read a quote recently, and it said that, I'm trying to rephrase it in my head before I say it. It's more like your strangers will support you more than anything else. How does that fit with you? How do you feel about that?
Okay, yeah. So sometimes I have loyal customers, but sometimes I have customers saying, "Boy, why that's so expensive?" But I have, for example, with my cargo, I have a formula, and it's always the same every time. If I got to lose, I'm gonna lose. I have sometimes that a shipment come in, I lose $200, but I can't charge you no more because my formula, my rules is rules, policy is policy.
Wow.
Yeah, don't matter how much I'm losing, it's my customers.
Yeah.
But then you still have locals that are like, oh, it's so expensive, it's so expensive, why is it so expensive? But then you have the person that ain't local, you was like, okay, no problem, swipe.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like, you know, some people need to have a kind of, have locals that have an understanding, you know, okay, cool, you gotta pay your bills, but then there are some of them that be so hard on you. I was like, boy, I'm trying to be transparent. I always be transparent, but I feel like they should, be a little more understanding when it comes to that part.
Yeah. Talking about transparency, I did see you make a post lately, and I can tell like you really, out there for your customers, and where you highlighted the community, like to look out for the sizes of your packages when it coming in. So I find like that was a really good tip.
Thank
you
you.
know, because some people might not even go into that and just pay automatically without double checking.
Yeah, that's exactly why I posted, because sometimes people just pay and it was like, okay, no problem, the money gone. But at that time, you must have done overpay already. So I feel like they should know that this is some discrepancies going on with the system. So.
And that's you being transparent too.
Yes.
Because you could have stayed without saying.
Yeah, I could have not said.
Exactly. And I want to speak to you about, because you say it's difficult, but see you're going, there's an event that you just do. Well, you could say now and then, for special times around the year, which is Sunkist. What make you jump into that? Because promoting and promotion is on a small island, it ain't as easy. What make you jump into that?
Well, Sunkist was my first event. The first time I did an event was along with some classmates for after graduation party. That was the first time. And then also I did one with Yuchi around COVID time that I called Antidote. That was a tough one because it was COVID time. So we also kind of do a loss with that. But also living abroad, living in Miami, and also living in Bonaire. Bonaire always have something going on. Whether it's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, don't matter the time of the week. They just, and people just go out. So I was like, Stacia will get here. So last year, the first one was June 29th. And May, I sit down and I talked to Vanessa, and I was like, Vanessa is my friend.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I want to hold an event. I don't know what kind yet, but I feel like, it should be in a day because everything always in the night.
Yeah.
And also, you're always hearing complaints from the older generation that whenever they go out, it's always young people, it's always young people, it's always young people. So I was like, okay, try earlier with a age limit. So they were telling me, as supportive friends, I think you should do it next month. Too close. It's too close. I think I had like 3 weeks to plan it. It was like, boy, that's too close. Do it in July. I said, boy, no, I want to do it. I want to do it. And I was actually thinking about going in July, but I was like, I won't push for it. Because for me, I just always take risks. Yeah. Sometimes it don't be calculated risks, but I'll just take the risk and do it. And I took the risk. And I think maybe I had like maybe 50, 60 people. And it was I was scared because when tickets went out, nobody was buying. I was like, boy, it ain't gonna go good. But then some people come to the gate, and it's always the first one that has laid the way for the others to come. Yeah. So Vanessa was doing the videography, and she takes some good videos. Yeah. And then she make the after movie. Yeah. And then everybody was like, boy,
this is what it is.
Yeah. And I was like, boy, I miss out. So then the second one come around, and then tickets went like that. The first 3 days, tickets was gone. Yeah. So I was like, this is what it need to be. I do it because, I was saying Stacia boring. Yeah. And I wanted to just do something and see how it stick.
It's true, because we don't feel left out the first time.
I don't think we had a babysitter or something.
Yeah.
We couldn't make it to it.
But the second time it was really nice. Big props to you.
Thank you. Go to the third one for sure.
Yeah. I feel it right now increased capacity because the first time it was 100 people. We had to see how Gin House would fit the people, and it still had a lot of space. Yeah. And right now we move capacity to 200. Oh, okay. Yeah, and the tickets are already 70% sold out. So, if you don't have a ticket,
get them now.
Get them now because it's a ticket-only event, and I'm sure it would sell out. So if you don't want to miss it, I advise you to contact us.
What I like too about it is that you don't have it so consistent. Sometimes like you overdo something. Not saying that, I don't know if that's the intention, but I like that you have it like once in a blue moon, it coming out. Like, so when you come, it's going to sell. People are going to be interested. So like a build anticipation.
That's a concept actually, because at first I wanted it to be like 4 times a year. But if you put it 4 times a year, people are going to be like, maybe this month you come in with it.
Yeah.
But now that it's inconsistent, they be like, boy,
It like pop up.
When the next one is, so it build an anticipation, like you say.
Yeah.
So that's how I have it, you know. Whenever it come out, it come out.
It's a perfect segue because it take me into something else I wanted to also ask you about, which is Ujima. I want to make sure I say it right.
Ujima.
Music, everything come together. What make you say I want to get mixed in between Carnival now?
Basically, it's an argument between me and my partner, which is Vidal, Nick. He's saying I asked him to do the troupe, and I know he asked me to do the troupe.
Communication.
Yeah. It was when I was living in Miami. He always have friends in Carnival troupes and parties here and parties there. So we have the kind of experience with that. And one day he was in my apartment. He was like, I don't know who it was. One of us. And that's where the baby, we conceived the baby of Ujima, because we just call Ujima our baby. So that's where it come from. We just wanted to do a troupe.
Yeah.
It was just spur of the moment.
And the name, Ujima.
Ujima, he's the creative behind everything. Whenever we got a event coming up or whatever, the team as well for the troupe, he always has come.
Okay, so he's the one who the organizer.
And is this going to be the third or second time you all doing it now?
Third
time.
Yeah, we were supposed to actually be out. We come over in 2023. We were supposed to be out in 2022, but it didn't fall through, so we did 2023.
You started with Ujima before Sunkist, right?
Yeah.
And it's something you're trying to eventually build into somewhere, or it's something you're just doing for kind of more on a fun base, like it's something to, because you yourself to be inside of it also.
Yeah. So basically, it's supposed initially we want to grow it so that we could have one on St. Martin and one we join Carnival in Sunkist, we join Carnival in Miami. So that's what we want to build it into. So it kind of baby steps right now. Carnival committee there's a new Carnival committee, which I must say very impressed by. We had a meeting with them 2 days ago, and I'm very impressed with the plans that they have for Carnival. So I feel like with the plans that they have for bringing eyes on stage, I feel like the troops that we have would be able to grow and then be able to travel to the different islands too, if they want to have a troop on those islands.
That sounds really good.
That's really nice. I like the concept, like you all ain't only staying here, but you're venturing into the other islands too. Yes. I see like that's a thing now too, right? Yeah.
I also see it might sound a little controversial, but there's this thing with Carnival and clothing. Where one side a person say, hey, they want something like fully clothed, and then there's the next side where allowing the younger demographic to express themselves in the way they want to express themselves. How you feel where that's concerned? I
feel you can wear what you want. If you're a big girl and you feel like wearing less clothes, wear less clothes. You're supposed to be able to feel comfortable in your own skin. If somebody telling you should wear more clothes because you're too big or whatever, I feel like that's very discriminative. So if you want to wear whatever you want to wear, you wear. And that's what the troops does do as well. They give you options of fully clothed or if you want to be naked. I mean, it should be everybody's own choice. Yeah. The onlookers, if you don't want to see, close your eyes. But, I mean, it should be everybody's own choice.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask that.
What sets you apart from the different troops?
So, for me, being able to have Nicholas Vidal, he have friends in Miami that does the troupe. They do large troupes. So he have experiences, and he brings, for example, we were the first to launch costumes. Yeah. That was in 2023 because everybody, I didn't understand the concept, but we both didn't understand the concept. Why keep it a secret? Because if you want people to come and join, I feel like they should see. Like,
that's true.
I want to join. So we did that, and then also we started with goodie bags, and So I feel like that's what set us apart. We create a family, which I know other troops also create a family and have their own different niches. So I feel like that's kind of what sets us apart.
It's just your vibe.
Yeah. Vibe.
And I want to go back a little bit. A lot of people I want to know why you leave from States to come to Statia specifically. Because some people say, why don't I just stay in the States and start my business up there and do what I got to do from up there because it's a bigger audience, everything is much bigger. Why you decide to come back home?
So basically, first, I was studying gynecologist. And And then I realized, ain't for me. Too much studying. By the time I done, I was a 40.
And you're an entrepreneur too.
Yeah. So the initial idea of Brown's Auto Parts and Supply, the parts store, that come while I was studying. It was between me and my mother. She was like, you ain't got no parts store on station.
Yeah.
So I feel like you should try that. And I was like, I don't want to do that. She said, yeah, your father is a mechanic, your uncle's a mechanic, you're going to walk. I was like, okay. So then I applied for a loan and then got the loan and started the preparations while I was there. And for me, it would not work there because, it's a big country. Everybody's selling parts and they're all cheap. But home was missing that. And that's also one of my things that I do is look around the island to see what's missing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then see where you could bring back and contribute to the community.
Yeah.
So that's where that came from. And while I was opening it, me and Saskia was doing donut factory at the same time. An opportunity come for us to go to Bonaire. Yeah. Somebody invited us to Bonaire to just do donuts. We don't have donuts down there. And when we visited, it was like, boy, we got to come back here to live. We're making money. So that's...
And you would think it's a bigger place.
Yeah. So I shifted from the outer shop, which my parents were very disappointed. Yeah. And we moved to Bonaire and we stayed there for 2 years. So it was all over the place.
But I like the risk you take.
Yeah, I like to take risks.
Without you taking a risk, you wouldn't have known anything.
Yes,
and the experience.
That's one of my mottos too, is like, if you don't do it, you're going to always wonder why if. Because if you do it, then you're going to know. Even if you fail, it's still an experience. You're going to know if you did like it or not. But if you don't do it, you're going to sit down, why if I did do it? Yeah. But you're going to stick with it in your mind because you ain't do it.
So walk us through the journey of the donut factory. The preparations from here moving to Bonaire.
Yeah, so it was difficult first because, of course, our parents, that was the first hurdle we had to get over. But, Saskia, ignorant. No matter what they say, we was like, nah, we going.
Yeah.
So basically, we visited first. We did a few sales, came back home and started the preparation. So we applied for a loan with credits, and they really helped us out good. And then we had to look for a location. And then we found one, my cousin had shown us a place right in the middle of town. It was like, that's a perfect spot. It was even pink. So it was like, perfect spot, yeah. So from there, we started preparations, figuring out what to order. We make a lot of mistakes. So doing those things till you figure out, what to do and what not to do. For example, we order a fridge online. It was cheap, but then if you had to ship it, it's going to become more expensive than a fridge if you purchase it on the island itself. So a lot of stuff we learned while setting it up. And then a lot of stuff we had an initial idea of how we wanted it to look, but then prices and the cost of stuff, we had to scale back. And then, we opened up. The first few weeks, we sell a lot of donuts. It was very exciting and also overwhelming at the time because Saskia mother also had to fly down to help us. Yeah. And then it started to decline. Small islands, when you have something there, it there, I'm going to go next week, I'll go tomorrow. So then the sales started to decrease. And then also rent was going up because they have some type of stipulation where every year, every quarter, the rent does go up. Yeah. So it started to get more expensive. And then egg prices was going up. And this was going
and you
up.
Need that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it started to get very expensive. And it was hard for us to make a decision to say, boy, close up and go home. Because home is the best place to be. Don't make sense struggling in the next man land. Yeah. So that's where we decided to close up shop and come back home.
But I really like, like I keep saying, you all take that step. You all also hire persons too. So you're not only working for yourself, but you had an experience. How was that?
I thought we were going to be strict bosses, but because they were basically in our age group, we were more like friends. Yeah. We didn't want to be strict and say, they didn't like to come work. It was more of a fun, like a family we did become. And the only reason that we didn't have them anymore is because, sales was declining. Declining. So otherwise we would have had a family, but it was fun being a boss. Yeah.
Nice. Something. I lose it. So you just say you all came back because ultimately the sales wasn't going as it was supposed to be. But I can remember also you all persons were maybe expecting that maybe would have had a donut factory Stacia or a donut factory. I think at certain
branch.
point we were thinking even donut factory Samat.
Yeah, we were actually working on Donut Factory Cement. We had a logo and everything.
Yeah.
But looking into the logistics, like you have to write in Samaritan, you have to get this document, you have to get that document. It was kind of not feasible at the moment. And then we had also a lot of people asking Donut Factory Stacia. But at the same time, for example, when we have our sales on Saturdays, because we just do them every Saturday, we can't have it every Saturday. In the beginning, we used to have it every Saturday, but then you realize, only half a donut selling that what we did sell last week. So usually we just maybe skip a week or skip 2 weeks to build the want of the donuts. Yeah. So we can't open up a donut shop here. The island too small. We don't have enough people. We are looking into it, but
I understand.
Yeah.
Do you think then, in general, service-based business is better than having a business with inventory?
Yes and no. So for example, I have both. So the bronze outer parts and then surefire cargo. Yeah. So for service-based businesses, you would say they require a lot of you. So then they're asking you questions, you need to do this for them, you need to do that. So that take a lot from you. While having parts, they would just come inside, I need this, I need that, and they go and it finish one time. So it's kind of two-sided to say.
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer?
Right now, we're leaning towards the inventory part because, these days I've been very stressed. Like, for example, in the beginning, I had a good run because when I used to come here every day, could I have cargo come in every day. And in the beginning of starting Surefire Cargo, I did my research and I figured out a way how to get my cargo to leave the States every day. Because basically, what everybody do is, it used to be twice a week, but now it's once a week to get cargo to St. Martin. So I did my research and I figured out a way to get my cargo to St. Martin every day.
Wow.
So I was even ready. I increased to 2 times. It was 2 times a week while everybody was still getting once. Yeah. And I was ready to go 3 times a week. The speed was coming. And then when I put out no more cargo. So I put a spoken mobile. So I had to drop right down to 1 because then to figure out the dates of when to get them in and stuff like that, I was like, okay, just 1. Yeah. So then with that, people depending on you, my cargo late, I thought you say it was fast, I thought you did. So,
especially when you put it out there too.
So that weighed down a lot on me because I like to give my customers the best. And when I can't get them the best, I don't feel good.
Exactly.
And then you have delays from carriers or the warehouse. I have my own warehouse in the States. And sometimes they don't miss delivery times or they didn't see an email. So then that would make me lose a week of shipment and have to wait till the next week. So a lot of that was weighing on me. It's a lot of stress. So I just try to, manage it, but I would rather now stick to rounds or So
what?
Go ahead.
No, I say at least your inventory is nothing like going to expire on you or anything.
That's true.
So that's a plus there.
That's true.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, you say at a certain point you hit a certain amount of stress. What does it do to unwind?
Unwind. Okay, well, basically I like to sleep. I like to sleep, but having Chandra and Vanessa as friends, they love to do different activities. Either we go to drink. For drinks, last week, me and Vanessa sat at the beach on a tree and just relaxed there she was there from morning. We stayed there till like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So things like that has helped at times now. So expressing myself and being able to, tell them what I'm feeling. So then they, maybe I'm overreacting or maybe think about it this way. Look at the solution instead of the problem that's going on at the time. So that's how...
It's good to have that type of support system too.
For sure.
Especially when you're too much in your head and you're over analyzing things, maybe what you need.
Exactly.
For sure.
And then a lot of people, when you leave an island, a lot of people got a choice between going to America or going to Holland. Why America?
For me, first it was distance because if you have to go to Holland, you always hear them say, it's $1,500 just to go and maybe come back. And then from Saman to Miami is just $200, $300. So that was my first thing. It's close to home. And then the language. So I didn't want to study in Dutch. I did HAVO, so I had to speak Dutch in school. But I used to get a lot of straf. Because they wanted me to talk Dutch, but I really didn't want to talk Dutch. So I used to get a lot of straf. So I wanted to do school in English. And then also the freedom of choosing your classes whenever you want. If you want to go to school on Saturday, go to school on Saturday. If you want to go in the morning, you want to go in the night, I did love that.
Yeah.
So then I go sleeping in the morning because I hate waking up early for school. So I used to start school maybe like 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and then come home late in the afternoon. So that was mainly the choice of...
Yeah.
You say you didn't prefer to talk Dutch. How many languages do you know? Do you
3.
say English is okay?
Yeah, so English, Dutch, and then because I live in Bonaire, I know some Papiamento.
Okay.
Yes.
Something,
Dus bepor pape pepimento.
See.
Okay.
because you say that, I thinking about how you say that, the ticket and stuff like that, but schooling in general in the States a lot more expensive than schooling in the Netherlands. So I'm assuming that, like for example, you have to get help from parents and stuff like that.
How you manage?
But then, yeah, exactly. And how for persons that, they're not able to do that, how I ain't know how to.
I want to know how were you able to keep up the funds to pay the tuition and all?
Well, study financiating does cover a good amount.
Okay.
So they cover school, and I also had enough for like recreation or buying something to eat. My mother used to cover rent. But there's also that you could live on campus, and study financiating could cover a majority of that.
Oh,
if you want to live off campus, that's what is be expensive. But on campus, more cheaper.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes. Yeah.
That's something new to me, so I didn't know.
Because in Miami, for sure, I know about other places, but I know living off campus in Miami is way more expensive than living on campus.
And you didn't opt for living on campus?
No, because I can't do it sharing bathrooms. No, so me and Tanisha, we had to do apartment together, so it came out cheaper. So also, if you could travel maybe 4 people and share apartment with 4 people, that would be
better.
Ideal.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to think.
No, it's just like I would be the same too. Like I wouldn't want to go in a place in Holland does it too, where like you have your own room and then you have to share like those things like bathroom and so forth. I wouldn't feel comfortable because like strangers, they don't know how they are.
Exactly.
They don't know who you have in that compound and all that. For me, it's the same. What is something that brings you joy?
Family. And being able to find them whenever or wherever it is, and being able to be in close proximity. Because, for example, those living abroad, and when I was living abroad too, it was like isolation, and that you can't just drive across the road and just visit somebody. So I feel like that being able to be around people that you love, especially friends too that become family, that has bring me joy.
That's nice. So you're spending time with people around you. Yeah.
And sleeping.
Sleep. Let me go put a lamp clock on. Well, a sleeping limit on that. Entrepreneur. Is there anything that you feel like you would like us to tap on, or something that you want the community to know about you?
About me, not really, but it kind of to do with me. I remember I watched the podcast with Ingra, and in the ending, she had touched on the system here, the healthcare, and how people aren't able to get the care they need. So basically, my mother, she started off with 2 people, and they always come to ask her, I need help to go to the hospital because they ain't listening to me, or my employer do this or do that. So she was doing it for a very long time, and some people had asked her, and I was like, Mommy, why you don't do that more official?
Yeah.
She was like, I didn't think so. I said, Ma.
Other places that do have that, yeah.
Yes. I said, Ma, I think you should. And so right now we're working on that. She have about 8 clients.
Yeah.
That has come to us. You have some new parents that was going to the doctor, and the doctor wasn't listening, and she stepped in with them, like try to figure out what's the problem. Yeah. She had an example of a gentleman that was going to the doctor, and he wasn't getting anywhere. He was supposed to go away for treatment. He had cancer, or maybe he still has cancer. And he came to visit her at her house, and he started to cry because she asked him how he doing. And he said, he waiting to go Colombia, but he ain't hearing nothing. And, he have cancer, and he feel like he going to go worse. She said, okay, no problem. We're going to go to doctor tomorrow, or Zedvika tomorrow. So she went down there, and she asked them, so what's the reason why he wasn't able to go? So they told her that they waited on the doctor to answer. So she's talking no problem. We want to go to the hospital. So went to the hospital, and the doctor said, like, he actually answered all the questions that they asked.
Yeah. So
basically, somewhere was some type of miscommunication. But in the next day, I think it maybe take 2 days for him to go to Colombia, and he had to do aggressive treatment because of so long he waited for, So basically, that's what she wanted to do. So we trying to work on a foundation or so to basically help people. It ain't only medical.
Speak on their behalf.
Yeah, because for him, he stayed home. He didn't went back to see, a simple question, why. It's because you have some people that shy or maybe don't know.
And especially when you're in it, you're like, I ain't got no strength for this. I'm not feeling bad already. You just go and deal with it for me. Yeah.
So that's what we're actually working on right now. That's one next step.
That's a really
one next step. So actually helping my mother work on that.
Yeah. That's really nice. And I'm glad that you reflected back on that, because I think we ended off the interview. Like, some people might not have the funds and so forth to go on their own and travel abroad. But I feel like, okay, your mother stepping in to provide a service to those people who maybe need that extra push can actually work out for them.
Yeah. Exactly. And if they have somebody watching that really needs somebody to speak up for them, you could reach out to her or me, and I could pass you over to her, and she'll gladly help you with whatever you're going through. Or
how do they get in contact with you?
My phone number is 553-4813, and her phone number is 318-5166.
I like how you
don't.
I was just going to ask. Well, I have a question now. Are you single? Since you're giving out your number like that.
I'm dating.
Okay.
I'm not single. I'm dating at the moment.
What's the dating experience like on the island?
Whew. To say it plain, it's horrible. I must say. Because I've been single since 2019, officially single.
Wow.
So that's going on 6 years. Yeah, and that is because when you look around or you date somebody here, you're like, I don't feel it, or you realize that, they wasn't loyal, or they just want to play games. So then I actually move on to not dating station men, because a lot of them also are taken men.
Yeah.
And they are fooling around, not being loyal to their partner.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are not single. So I was like, okay, branch out.
Yeah.
And then also, same problem. So basically, dating is tough. Dating on Stacia is tougher, more tough, because the island's so small.
And then family related.
That too. Actually, I was dating somebody. I was talking to somebody last year.
Yeah.
When I was traveling to Brussels, I met somebody on the airport.
Yeah. And
coming back, we exchanged numbers and we started talking. But then, I think maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or maybe the first week, his last name, I forgot his last name was Warner. I was like, no, impossible. Yeah. So we had went on a hunt.
Maybe it's a calling.
No, he's family. We're family.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. So like it tough. It's tough
for them. You'll find out later on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But then, I don't know. Because it got Browns in the States.
No, but actually,
people Brown in the States and then Brown in Stacia in, right?
No, but
I'm not sure.
The one was actually his family from Sunkist.
Yeah, that close.
Oh,
yeah.
So was family self.
Yeah, so he was from Fig Tree or something like that, and so I had to ask Teacher Debbie, I had to ask my father, I had to ask this one. It was kind of too close for comfort, so it was like,
Yeah. At least you asked her one time. I would have never know, like you're traveling, you're thinking like it's so close proximity.
Yep.
But when it comes to you, you're an entrepreneur, what do you think about the dating pool when it comes to women who are like, I should say superwoman? What do you look for in a man? Like
somebody who could, support me, and also, for example, being stressed out, you don't want to come home to stress. You want to come home to somebody, maybe sometime he cook or, have a little date night set up or something just to unwind.
Yeah.
So, one thing for sure is support and reassurance and maintaining loyalty. So, I would say that's the most important thing for me when it comes to dating with an entrepreneur. I would say that's the most important.
Yeah, 'cause I know you does have like independent women, and then sometimes men that be like, well, I don't get a chance to be, to help out. And then now I see like more women are going into the more the feminine aspect and soft life.
That's what I'm trying. I realize now while dating, I realize like I want to do almost everything myself. I have to hold back and let him lead and let him do what he wants to do for me because I can't just do it all on my own all the time. So
You said that, for example, you look and then you find somebody and they end up maybe somebody who messing with a person or something like that, and then you look again and then you look again, and do you feel maybe internally you might be looking for the same thing?
I feel like yes, because also, how to say, sometimes you don't want bad boys. You don't want nice people. And I could say from experience, while I was living on Bonaire, I had a guy that was interested in me, and we were like dating for a while. And he was very nice, like very, very, like too good to be true. And I was like, it turned me off, And I was in the end, I was like, that was wrong on my end. Because you want a bad boy, and then when you get a bad boy, it going wrong. But you had the good boy in your hand, and you let him go.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes, it's my fault with who I choose to entertain.
Yeah.
So now, I have my discernment and figure out, this is what I like, this ain't what I like. And that helped me, but still helping me because now I'm dating a teen official as yet. And then still figuring out, does he do stuff that, I like and that align with my morals? So I kind of working on and I'm hoping that, it works out.
It work.
Well, I'm glad you got you're looking at yourself also.
Yes.
And not just looking at the other, looking at the other person.
Yes.
Yeah.
But a lot of
Because
times,
sometimes, go ahead.
a lot of times, a lot of women husbands in the friend zone. But that's for another conversation.
What? A lot of what?
No, go ahead. Let's go ahead.
You lost me there. I don't know what you mean.
A lot of women, for example, let me say they have male friends. And they go to the male friend and they complain about what this guy in doing. But usually 9 times out of 10, the male friend who they just go to would treat them how. And
That's true.
They just stay in a male friend because they're hoping that one day you decide to actually
Choose
give
them.
them that chance because they're probably going to treat you the way you want to be treated, but you're going to them complaining about how this bad boy ain't treating you the way
That's
he's supposed to
facts,
treat you.
yeah.
That's what I mean with
Yeah.
a lot of them husbands in the
Oh, I
Makes sense now. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
It is true. I feel bad for the nice boys, but it's like you like what you like, and
True, but you got to reevaluate and say, what it is you actually want from whoever it is you're looking for.
because then, like you say, that opportunity could just pass by. That moment.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. So before we end this, I always like to ask: is there anything that you would like to leave with the audience?
Well, from the beginning, I say take the risk. Do whatever you feel like doing. If it was a business, or you want to travel, or you want to have kids, or anything, just do it because we have one life to live, and we have proof where the next day could be one day here and the next day you're gone. And then what? You didn't do what you felt like you wanted to do, and also don't live for people because then you're keeping yourself back from what you could accomplish. So I feel like, do what you feel like doing.
But Lenaria, I'd like to thank you for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Like I say here on Jacqueline, the talk. I keep saying Jacqueline, the talk because I'm saying it. Capture the moment. Watch it forever. See you guys in the next episode. Bless.